Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into this week's video on the Spark Your Speaking channel. My name is Kathy Lee and I am your public speaking coach. Well, it's that time again to ask me anything about public speaking. These are questions that have been submitted by you, so thank you for engaging with me and being curious and wanting to know more beyond the YouTube videos I've been producing. I've gotten many questions, so I've split this video into two and will answer more questions that have been submitted in next week's video. All right, let's get started. Thank you for that question. I actually get a lot of questions around fear and anxiety when it comes to public speaking. In fact, many of my students have this fear, and that's what got them interested in taking public speaking lessons with me in the first place. I go into much greater detail about fear of public speaking in my online course, Ace Your Public Speaking, which you can find on sparkyourspeaking.com. But the one thing I want you to understand is that you are completely capable of working through that fear and anxiety. I used to be very fearful, and now I'm not so much anymore. I mean, I still get nervous on stage at speaking engagements, but I've learned how to manage that fear. The best advice I can give you is put the focus in the preparation of your talk or presentation or script. What people don't understand is a lot of the work for your presentation happens before your presentation even starts. That's where the grind is. It's making sure your notes are in order, you have the facts ready to go and they're all correct, and your PowerPoint presentation or whatever visual cue that you have for your presentation is ready, and that you've invested a lot of time in the rehearsal part of it too. Many people don't prepare ahead, or they prepare their material but forget or don't think about going over it a few times before the real thing happens. I think that's such an oversight. If you look at high performers in anything, public speaking, sports, arts, etc., they all prepare and rehearse before game day or opening night. No one just wings it. So make sure that if you are wanting to get into the public speaking realm, or if you actually have a project that you're working towards, that you really dedicate a lot of the time ahead of that presentation, just to make sure that you are set up for success. By the time I get to the day of my keynote presentation, I will have had the script finished and rehearsed many times. If my keynote presentation is first thing in the morning, I'll rehearse it at least once or twice from start to finish. That's right, from start to finish. Or if I feel like I don't want to be too over-rehearsed, because sometimes that can happen, I just focus on some parts that I feel need work. But before I run through anything, I make sure that I've had something to eat, just so that my brain can focus a little bit better. Something like, a banana, something light, something with a little bit more sugar or some other fruit. Maybe yogurt, maybe a shake and some toast, depending on how hungry I feel or how nervous I feel that morning. But I do make sure that I have some fuel so I don't, go hungry, but I also don't want to eat too much or, foods that trigger my stomach, because, you have all those nerves happening, and so I just don't want to risk having a stomach ache or anything like that. Even though I've been public speaking for a long time, I still get butterflies and I still get nerves, and I still feel, all the things that I think anybody would feel before they're gonna go and make a speech or do a presentation. So I just don't want to mess with my digestive tract. I make sure I don't irritate it more by having, greasy food or heavy food or anything like that. Once I've eaten, I'll have a big glass of water by my side, because I want to make sure that I stay hydrated. I do not drink coffee or caffeine, just water. Now that works for me. For you, it kind of depends. If you're a person that needs coffee first thing in the morning just to get you going, then maybe just have 1 cup. But if you know that you are adversely affected by coffee because it gives you the jitters, depending on how much you drink, maybe scale back or just avoid it altogether. When I rehearse, I actually like to do it while I'm getting ready. I'll do it while I'm putting on my makeup and doing my hair. Now during this time, I might only go through certain parts of my keynote. And when I say go through it, I'm not reading off the script. Okay, I don't have the script in front of me reading, that's not what I'm doing. I'm using the recall skill, that strategy that I've been teaching in my YouTube videos. I'll do that for many of the parts of the keynote speech, just to make sure that I know and I'm confident that I understand the material and I remember the material that I'll be talking about. Then once I'm done getting ready, if I have time, I'll run through the entire keynote from start to finish, as if I'm doing it for real. Again, I'm not reading off the script, I'm applying the recall strategy that I've practiced over the years. Now, once I'm done, I'll then head to the venue, or if I'm being hosted in the hotel of the conference, I'll make my way downstairs about 30 minutes before the event starts, because that will give me time to suss out the place and connect with an organizer. I mean, the last thing anybody, including myself, wants is to be rushed, because that can add to the stress of the day. Now, if my keynote isn't until the afternoon, that's great. It just gives me more time to relax and make sure that I'm prepared. There are various ways to handle mistakes when public speaking, but for me, the best way that works is to keep going. If it's a small mistake, like a stumble over some words, I don't even dwell on it or address it. I correct myself quickly and then I continue on. The reason is because stumbles are a very natural part of everyday talk. People are used to hearing it, so if you stumble, it's not going to stand out as much as you think, which is why I don't even bother highlighting it. I don't bother bringing more attention to it. By the time you've moved on to your next thought, so has your audience. Remember, the context of your presentation is also important, not just your delivery. Now, if I've made a massive mistake, for instance, if I got a fact wrong, or if I've messed up the order of the way that I'm supposed to say things and I can't seem to recover, I might address this, but what I do is I take a pause for a second just so that I can gather my thoughts. I've been in a situation where I've tried to keep going without that moment to pause, and that didn't always turn out to be the greatest, and that's because I was too flustered and panicked. So take that pause, take a breather, then address the mistake and correct it and move on. Done. Well, that's all for today, everyone. Before I let you go, make sure to check out my online public speaking master program called Ace Your Public Speaking at sparkyourspeaking.com. It's a 2.5-hour robust and comprehensive one-stop shop, learn when you want to online program that will teach you all the important skills you need to know to excel as a public speaker. Make sure to head over to my website to access it. It's called sparkyourspeaking.com. Also, remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel and like this video and share it. If you have any questions or topic ideas, feel free to leave a comment below. See you next week.